Faithful today was filled with wins and losses. The 49ers making a lot of moves today. Some of yesterday's moves becoming clearer. The 53 changed, the practice squad filled, a speed demon was brought in, and the gauntlet was thrown at BA. On today's show, we have big updates from General Manager John Lynch. We have new signings and departures. We have to talk about players that made the practice squad, and we will close out with the 2-minute drill. If you're new here, I'm Nate. We are talking the San Francisco 49ers every day on this channel. It really does help me out if you hit that subscribe button, like this video if you do actually like the content I'm putting out there. The first piece of news that I have is, and I have to mention it, is the 49ers signed lightning quick Terrace Marshall Jr. to the practice squad. Former LSU wideout, more recently had a 3-year stint with the team that drafted him, the Carolina Panthers. Is he more than just lightning in a bottle? That's the question that the 49ers are probably wondering in the back of their mind, but they're going to like the opportunity they're going to give this guy. Interestingly, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took to the media today, speaking and revealing a ton of player updates, most notably that BA has been cleared medically to practice. Did he practice? No, of course he did. Of course he didn't. Shocker. But he was cleared to practice, so it begs the question, was Terrace Marshall insurance for Brandon Aiyuk? That's an interesting question. We're going to get to that actually a little bit later. Larry Krueger essentially asked that question, and you're going to hear what Kyle Shanahan had to say about that. We're going to break down everything that happened with all the moves and everything, some of the things that John Lynch had to say. Lots of good stuff out there we're going to break down. But first, comment below, what do you think about this move for Terrace Marshall Jr.? I mean, the guy was lightning quick, running 4.3 40s alongside Jamar Chase back in 2021. Interesting time. We won't even get into the COVIDs and all that stuff, but there's no argument here. He's not Brandon Aiyuk. I'm not trying to make that argument. Anybody trying to make that argument is misunderstood. Larry Krueger is asking the question because he knows not that this guy's going to replace Brandon Aiyuk, but that you need bodies, you need guys, and this guy can get out there and run a go route, and he can catch a football. Not as good as the last guy, but you do have to find players like that to fill those roles, and you do back Kyle Shanahan. I back Brock Purdy and what he can do in this system with some of these talented individuals. I'm going to break down more Terrace Marshall stuff, as I mentioned, but I'm interested in what you guys think. I'm interested in what production you would expect out of him if he even makes it off the practice squad, if this guy's just insurance for BA, or if there's something here. Ronnie Bell's still on the 53-man roster today so far, and so there's 7 guys on that wide receiver list on the 53. So there's still movement that can happen. All right. I forget who. Someone was on the radio yesterday and was like, if I was Ronnie Bell, I wouldn't go from my rental to buying a house just yet. And that makes a lot of sense. It makes a ton of sense. So let's get into some of the updates coming out of John Lynch's interview. The first one being that he called out Brandon Aiyuk. So as I mentioned earlier, Brandon Aiyuk was medically cleared to practice today. So there were early rumors kind of middle of the day that were saying he's going to practice, and then he's medically cleared to practice, becomes an official thing we know from Kyle Shanahan, and then John Lynch comes in after that, both of them, of course, being asked, like, so are you expecting him to practice? And they both give the company line. He's on this football team. He's healthy. I expect him to practice. Right? And for those of you that are like done with Brandon Aiyuk and the saga and all that stuff, don't worry. We're not talking about this for all that long. Okay? But here's the best part of what John Lynch had to say. At some point, you've got to play. And we all felt that. Everybody listening, I was listening live. I felt that. I'm sure you felt it if you heard the audio. There was something in the tone and the way that he said it that was so definitive. That was like, yeah, this is kind of he's trying to give the company line, you do what you can. We're never going to give up working on them. We're always going to keep work. And at some point, you've just got to play, right? Like, he's almost like, I'm sick of breaking the whole thing down and trying to give you the politically correct, whatever answer. And at some point, you got to play, right? I think this is, honestly, I saw some people tweeting this. I really do think that he's just kind of not at the end of his rope, like he can't handle his job or anything, but I think he's just really kind of over the situation with Brandon Aiyuk. for sure. I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say that pretty confidently. And while he was talking, he also was asked about the Brandon Aiyuk and Trent situation. I wanted you to actually listen to what he had to say in this regard.
It seems like you saw this standoff with Brandon Aiyuk coming a few months ago. Did the Trent Williams situation surprise you?
I don't know that I saw the standoff with Brandon. I saw a situation that we were going to have to deal with, and man, we've been trying for a long time. We don't get paid to try; we get paid to do. And I'll take accountability for anything that hasn't happened, but I won't stop continuing to fight to find the best resolution, whatever that may be. The Trent situation. Things come up, and this has, come up. Trent's a fantastic player. He's a tremendous leader on this team. I will never fall short on my praise of Trent and what he's meant to this place. It was a great day, when I got that call from Rivera saying that they would do that trade, and he's been incredible since he's been here. So we value Trent. We love Trent. We want Trent here, and I'm hopeful that can happen soon.
With that, by the way, I don't have the audio pulled up for this one, but something that John Lynch did say in regards to the Brandon Aiyuk situation and the Trent Williams situation was kind of asked around, hey, how are you, how are the communications going with Trent Williams? And he was really very positive. We're having a lot of back and forth. We're talking every day, that sort of thing, right? Talking to his representatives and trying to find a solution to this deal. And then the follow-up question was, is it the same with Brandon Aiyuk? And he is like, we've been talking. We've been in discussions, right? Like, it was so clearly very, very different. I think it's interesting there. He's doing everything he can to kind of toe the line there and not say too much on one side or the other, not show too much emotion, not get too heated about this situation. But you can tell even in that clip how he feels, how he talks about Brandon Aiyuk and Trent Williams and how the situations just are different. They just feel different. And good for him. Thank you, John, for being committed to trying to get these deals done, because we would really like them to be on this football team. One other thing I'll give credit to that I couldn't find an audio clip for, and I didn't have time to rip them up from YouTube or whatever, but when I was listening live that I caught was his conversation or his perspective just on how important both of these guys are to this football team, his dedication to continue to work for them, find a solution. And I think that's just, it's something we have to appreciate, because as he mentioned, again, in that clip I couldn't find, Brandon Aiyuk and this whole situation could be solved like that, and we could all move past this really quickly. And he talked about there have been previous situations, didn't name any players, where we've been going through this, and then at the end of the day, we got it done and we all moved on, and before you knew it, we were all playing football and it was done. And I do think that could still happen here for Brandon Aiyuk, and I'm hoping for it. Now, in terms of the moves that took place, let's talk about this. This is here from the 49ers officially here. So the San Francisco 49ers today announced that they have signed Barch, Saubert, and Rock Ya-Sin, and they let Sam Okuwanu go. They put Feliciano on IR and Ambry Thomas on IR. So that's interesting there, and I'm stoked to see my guy Rock Ya-Sin on the list. I told you guys, I felt like they are playing him a lot. He's getting a lot of reps out there. They see something in him, or they're looking for something from him, and he did pretty well. He had maybe the best pass breakup against the Raiders, and whatever, not number ones or anything like that, but still, like he had some moments there, and he had some good moments in the first couple games as well, first couple preseason games. Ben Barch was an interesting one. Would have preferred to see Jarrett Kingston be that guy. But okay, that's okay. You win some, you lose some, and we'll talk about that too. But Eric Saubert was another one that's big, and I believe the take on Eric Saubert is that he's your tight end too. You trusted him to go out there and not jump ship, and I'm imagining, I don't know how this works, guys. I don't know, but I'm imagining behind the scenes what's happening is Kyle Shanahan sitting Eric down and saying, hey, You're our tight end number 2. You're very important to this football team, and we need you on this team. But we need somebody we can trust to go out there and be willing to come back. I don't know if that's how that works. I don't really get all of the complicated contract stuff. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But man, we'll see how it looks. But here's what we have so far. Okay, so 49ers. I told you at the beginning, wins and losses, right? So the losses. 49ers lost before they could sign him to practice squad. Big one, Cody Schrader. That one, big in the sense that it was a rapid move. The Rams picked him up, and it felt a little, are we missing something in that kid, right? Did we miss something? Jarrett Kingston was another one that really hurts because he was the only guy from the 2024 draft class that didn't end up on the roster. And you look at him, and you're like, dang it. Like, he was pretty good, and somebody else is going to get to develop him and get to see his potential grow. And I think, as I said earlier, sometimes you have to make those decisions between I'm choosing a guy that is potential and upside and solid now, but will be great later or could be great later, and the guys who are proven solid but have low upside. And the 49ers made their decisions as they had to, and especially at these depth positions, it gets really tricky with the depth positions because he was not going to be a starter. Sam Womack was picked up pretty quickly, and so was Jalen Graham. Jalen Graham was another one that kind of hurts a little for me. But you see, right, guys, I told you this, right? You got to expect this. The 49ers have such an incredible roster that you start dropping guys, and guys start getting picked up really fast, and we saw that. So they as I already mentioned, all those additions, just double checking everything here, and then of course signed to the practice squad, at least for now, is Terrace Marshall Jr., former LSU and Carolina Panther. Terrace was the 10th highest rated wide receiver coming out of the combine in 2021. Ran a 4.3 40, was drafted by the Panthers in the second round. In 3 seasons with the Panthers, he turned 101 targets into 64 receptions. What is the total yardage? 767 yards, an average of 12, and a TD. So, okay. I don't want to go too crazy into who this guy is because we could do a full player breakdown later. But the interesting thing for me really is more so what this says about what the 49ers think about not just him and his quality and his lightning speed and all of that, but what's really going on behind the scenes. Here's what John Lynch had to say about Terrace Marshall.
Marshall in any way, Aiyuk insurance, they play kind of boundary X receiver spots.
That's just a good football player. We were very fortunate to get in the building. I don't know what went on in Carolina. I know that I got on the phone with Terrence along with Leonard Hankerson and Kyle and just told him about the way we do things, what we thought of him coming out of college, and that this could be a great landing spot for him. He's going to have to earn everything, but it's a fun place for receivers to come and thrive. And whatever your best is, I think you'll find it here. So we're excited for that opportunity, excited for our practice squad. It's tough to lose players. I think Schrader, man, I love that kid and everything he represented and the way he attacked it. Sammy Womack had a really good offseason, was proud of him. I think we're deeper than we've been at corner, and so those are tough decisions that you have to make. One more, Jarrett Kingston. Jarrett was doing some really good things. You can't keep everyone. Really proud of this rookie draft class. There's been some injuries, but I think we're getting healthy. And we got the right type of people, the right type of players that are fits here. They're going to help us a lot. So a lot to be happy with our roster. We'll continue to work to get it complete. And can't wait for Levi's to be rocking here. And what are we, 10 days out, 9 days out?
It's 12. Okay. Similar question, Larry Krueger to Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle, what do you think of Terrace Marshall? Once upon a time, he was the best wide receiver prospect in the country, ran in the 4.3s. What do you guys see in him?
I'm excited to get him here in our practice squad. We felt that way with him coming out. We really had him high on our list in college, and to give him the opportunity to come here in practice squad, get a chance to see him, I feel like he can help our team out.
Kyle, what do you think?
Interesting, right? Interesting. Very similar responses from the both of them. Almost seemed like they knew what they were going to say before the question was asked. Of course they did, guys. Come on. So I like the pickup. I'm interested to see what he looks like. It'll be fun to see the speed in action. We also have Jacob Cowing, who has lightning speed. So different types of receivers there, but definitely pacey guys. We'll see if anything happens out of it or if he ends up not really getting much of a shot. But I love the pickup, and I love the 49ers being aggressive. And if they are sending a message to BA, I will take that. I'm not going to argue with that whatsoever. All right. The next story is the 49ers practice squad was announced. These are the guys we got back. So let's start with Isaac Alarcon. Yeah. Evan Anderson, Alex Barrett. You got a couple defensive linemen there that are I'm really hopeful. I'm really excited about Evan Anderson. And I'm going to shut up about him because I know I talk about him too much there, but I'm really excited. Alex Barrett had that absolute stud play. It was either against the Saints in the second preseason game or it was against the Raiders, and now I can't remember, but he had a stud play. Jonathan Garvin, Sebastian Gutierrez, Chase Lucas, Jalen Mahoney, Tay Martin, T.Y. McGill, Tanner Mordecai, happy that he made it back on the team. Drake Nugent, really glad he made it to the practice squad and he didn't get picked up by somebody else because there are a lot of guys out there that are really, really high on Drake Nugent. And we could definitely find ourselves in a situation where we need him this season. Let's hope not. But also Mason Pline and Braden Willis. So you've got all of your tight ends back except for Logan Thomas. And the Logan Thomas situation still could technically play out. He was asked, I think John Lynch was asked about Logan Thomas, and he did not rule out that Logan Thomas could still be on this football team. Tracy Walker, of course, also getting on there. So, and Trent Taylor. So all of these guys making the practice squad, and you feel good about the practice. I feel really good about the practice squad. I'm disappointed that Kingston's not on there. I am. I knew that Womack was not going to be landing on the practice squad. He was too good. Jalen Graham, too much potential. So those are not really surprising. I was really hoping we could sneak Jarrett Kingston on, and I was really hoping we could sneak Cody Schrader on, but you can't get everybody. So what we do have, though, is nice depth. What we're missing, if you notice on the left, we don't have a single running back on the practice squad right now. Don't love that because Isaac Grendo got injured again. We found out that Isaac Grendo kind of messed up his groin on Monday, and that is not a good situation for a practice squad that does not even have a running back on it. And I know the 53 is not finished. It's not done yet. And this is exactly why the 49ers put Patrick Taylor on the 53, because you need to carry enough running backs, to handle situations where a guy goes down. And Isaac Grendo should only be down for a week, but those kinds of things, you're out for a week. Today, we know, was already day one for Jets prep. So if Jets prep starts today and you're not there, that's an issue for me. That's an issue for you being on that football team. And I don't know, or being on that football field. I don't think he's going in there as a running back, to be clear. But even for things like special teams, like the 49ers need to be able to count on a guy to be consistent in every position. You want consistency in every position on the football field. It is one of the most important values. That's why everyone says the best ability is availability. It is like really, really, really important. And for all of you like me who have been coaches for a decade or more, you get what I'm saying. Like being able to be out there and being able to play, that's really, really important. And having consistency. And I think in special teams positions especially, knowing I can trust that guy at the kick return because every single time he gets the ball, he always catches it and he always makes good decisions. That's all you're looking for, right? Same thing with Jacob Cowing. If he stays healthy and he gets the punt return week in and week out, then you feel confident week 5, week 6, week 7, you feel confident when you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs and he's out there and you're in a punt situation and it's a really, really important key part of the game. You're really happy that Jacob Cowing's out there and he's been really consistent and he's been there every single week. So unfortunately, I think even if he's your best guy for a position, if you're not out there and you're not regular, that can become an issue. That being said, I really do like, guys, I said this yesterday and I feel like I ended on a little bit of a sour note. And I want to go back to the positive here and remind you guys, this is a star-studded 53-man roster. This is an amazing football team. We need Trent Williams back. I'm not going to act like we don't. We absolutely do. Brandon Aiyuk, I think we need him back. He's really that good. But I don't know if the downside that's being caused right now in the locker room if they can't get a deal done and you're asking him to play on his 5th year. If he's going to be a massive distraction and he's going to disrupt this locker room, then maybe he doesn't need to be back. I really like him. I'd love for him to be on the football team in terms of talent. We want his talent on the field. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a little worried about that one. I'm not going to go too deep on that because I just said 5 seconds ago I was going to say positive. This is a really, really good football team. We need those 2 guys back. Ideally, we need those 2 guys back. But, man, this is a really good football team, and we can be positive about that for sure. All right, let's talk about a few quick things real fast. The first one being what an anonymous NFL coach said between Purdy and Jimmy G. Obviously, those 2 comparisons are really frustrating at times, but you understand them. Jimmy G takes him to the Super Bowl, and then he's trash everywhere right after that with the Raiders. Brock Purdy takes him to the Super Bowl, and you say, well, you took Jimmy G to the Super Bowl. Maybe it's just a system thing. I understand the argument. I disagree with it completely and wholeheartedly, but I understand the argument. Here's what an anonymous coach had to say about it. When they have had to move the ball via drop back pass, that has been the difference between him and Jimmy. Purdy has done it, and he's done it in moments where he had to pull the ball down against Detroit and go get a first down with his legs. Good memory, right, guys? He has an innate feel. He has proven, even when it's not going well, he's a quarter away from clicking in, and you'd better have a lead when he does. And I love that. I love that take on him because that is where mentality is king. That is where Brock Purdy's mentality, simplicity, and focus, his energy, his attitude, that's where it really wins out because he doesn't get defeated when he's being defeated. He turns it around. He comes back, and that Detroit game is a perfect example of that. I'll give some credit to the although not very good overall, Green Bay game, that one too. 49ers are bringing back veteran tight end Eric Sauber to the 53-man roster in a move. Source described as roster gymnastics. He's expected to be their number 2 tight end behind starter George Kittle. I might have already actually said that in there, but I wanted to give credit to Matt Mayoko for that idea. Moving on, safety Tracy Walker is signed with the 49ers practice squad, as we already know, but with the intention, according to Adam Schefter, of being called up for week 1. So that tells you what? Tells you Hufanga is probably not going to be active week 1. Well, okay, I don't actually know that. That's not true. I don't know that. That's not what that means necessarily. But it probably means that you don't expect Hufanga to play week 1. Doesn't mean he's on the PUP or anything like that. But anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. I don't want to be out of my depth now. This is great. So we heard this clip.
To come, but it's a fun place for receivers to come. And
it's a fun place for receivers to come. To thrive, and whatever your best is, I think you'll find it here. John Lynch on Brandon Aiyuk. Terrace Marshall. This was a fantastic. Well done, Ryan Hensley. Well done. Clap for you. That was a great one. All right. Lastly, I just closed it out, but you might have seen it, is that Leonard Floyd was in practice today, reportedly. So that's fantastic news. That's what you want to hear. So if Leonard Floyd is back, and hopefully, if he's back now, he's going to be ready for week 1, you'd imagine. And then you're still hoping that YGM can get back soon as well. But if Leonard Floyd is healthy for week 1 against the Jets, that is a huge, huge benefit, not just because he has a little experience with Aaron Rodgers and injuries or anything like that, but because he's a valuable part of this team and he's a starter. So you kind of need him ready. All right, my goodness, 23 minutes. We got to end this right here. My goodness, this has been super fun. Thanks for being here. And I want to point out, with this 12 days away, we're getting really tight now. Now we're getting into real Jets buildup. So we got to start talking about the Jets and the keys to the Jets, which I think the number 1 key of the Jets is most definitely don't let them get a lead on you. They have a 2-touchdown lead with this defense this season. That's going to be absolute cutthroat football. So we're gonna talk about that over the next week or so. So stick around. I do a show every single day on this channel, so make sure you're subbed and you don't miss out on all of that. What a time to be alive.